What up, though, ladies and gentlemen? It's Easy. I'm here to break down the Detroit Lions' latest news and rumors. Do me a favor, smash the like button. I'm sorry, guys. I just watched a Canadian accent video, and it's very interesting. And I like to speak different dialects. I do. It's just fun to do. And one dialect that I speak is Brad Holmes and knees. Let's get into it. Brad Holmes just had another press conference ahead of next week's draft. That's right, next week's draft. I can't believe it either. It's almost here. Pistons playing the same night. Well, what is going on with that? Whole other conversation. Regardless, Brad Holmes press conference, and I thought there were some telling things, but some things that your boy may have already told you because we speak the Brad Holmes and knees. I already told you these things. But just some affirmation there on a lot of the fronts. We talked about it on the show previously too, on this channel. I should say that Brad's gonna draft BPA. He's going to go BPA. I know a lot of people want edge rusher. I know a lot of people want offensive line. I know a lot of people live in this world, and I'm not even trying to discredit any of that either. But a lot of people live in the positional value world where tackles, edges, quarterbacks, yeah, those the most precious positions to possess. But in an NFL draft, in an NFL draft, that's fun to say. And in an NFL draft, you just want to get good players. At the end of the day, you want good players. And a lot of times, I've been arguing this too. Sometimes you're drafting on like potential of what that player is going to be. You're not just drafting for the right now. You're drafting for the future. So a need, perceived need, I should say, at edge rusher is like, okay, I can draft some. By the way, first and foremost, like a rookie's never going to help make that big of an impact on a Super Bowl run. Rarely ever. It rarely happens. So I'm gonna. You know what? I'm done talking. I'm gonna let Brad explain this to you. And this is what I've been explaining for the past 2 weeks. Basically, Brad was asked again today his philosophy on BPA versus just getting the best player available or drafting for needs. And Brad Holmes kind of gives his philosophy on this one. This is from today's press conference. Check it out.
Let's say
You guys know
Ryan
me.
is clearly a guy you evaluated very, very highly, but there's an overlap with a guy in your roster where it's tough to see how you get both of them on the field. Like, how do you handle that as an evaluator when that guy's the best player, but maybe can't help you in a meaningful way?
Yeah, and we've had those discussions. I think the interesting thing, Justin, is that, and this is where I not get annoyed, but this is why I sometimes don't understand the whole need thing, because when each season ends, it's going to be something else. Like, another player's contract's going to end. Another player, unfortunately, might be coming off an injury. And, like, it's going to be something different every single offseason. So if you're trying to chase what happened last season of, oh man, this guy's contract, and if you're trying to chase, well, this guy got an injury, like, you're just kind of getting into a cycle that I think is a little bit dangerous to get into. So that's why I've been more of a, just get the best player, because even, like, look, we loved Rakestraw, and unfortunately he just wasn't as healthy, but so he wasn't able to help as much last year. But, like, we're real excited and looking forward to what he's going to be able to bring this year. So there is just, and I said before, there's just a level of patience that you just have to play. But when you start chasing need, it's like, well, that need might make sense for right now at this time, but what we make these picks for future investments. And I know we live in a society that everything is right now, boom, right now. And I understand it too, just from, when a player gets drafted and so much, fascination is made about the draft, and, people are excited about it. People want to see it right now. And, they don't want to wait and be patient, but there's just patience. I mean, it's no different than when we made that massive jump to get Jameson Williams. He was coming off his injury. We knew maybe he could play a little bit late in the season, but weren't planning on it. So yeah, I just got to play the patient. But I'm just, I think you can get trouble chasing needs sometimes, and then you're dependent on a rookie that you do the best you can, but nobody has a crystal ball, so it could be a tough world to live in.
Okay, so that's essentially kind of where I was trying to go with that one. I just realized I was kind of reiterating his own words when he basically said the exact same thing. I was allowed Brad to say it. But like when you're positioning yourself, right? Like, okay, because by the way, this is a really, really good Detroit Lions team. Like the term needs applies to a lot of teams in the NFL. It's debatable with Detroit Lions. There's no clear-cut position of need. They were like, would you like to have another edge? Yes, but technically, you kind of do have one of Marcus Davenport. And if he works out, not even works out, you know what he is when he's healthy. He's damn good. I mean, Dan Campbell said that himself. It's just, can he stay healthy? That's the question. So it's not necessarily a need for the Detroit Lions. We're at a luxury where we can go BPA, and it's going to work out for you in the long term. I think Brad has done that with the Detroit Lions. He gave an example of Jameson Williams. I think even just last year, obviously we get to see the fruits of this labor because this is last year's draft, right? But I mean, Manu, Vaki, like, these are guys that could become big time stars for you. Christian Mahogany, Aiden Hutchinson. Spinney likes to make that argument like he drafted for a need there. Like, no, he didn't. You were second overall in the draft, and that was the best player available. Like you took him. You took the best player available. It's makes sense. And he was ready to go right then because he's a good player. But still, even then, Aiden Hutchinson, as great as he's going to be, did that rookie season only had like 7, 8 sacks. Like, you can't draft a need in the draft unless it's something you absolutely need. That means you're just a bad team and you need a starting left tackle, right? We're not in that position where we need any sort of starting position. I think we're pretty good, clear cut across the board. Can there be upgrades in said draft? Yeah, I mean, maybe limited options, and they're not going to be available to us at 28. So you go BPA, best player available. And I agree with that wholeheartedly, 100%. That's why you see these little shorts here when the Lions met with Matthew Golden. And I was like, I can make sense of that. He's a good football player. I mean, I can almost make sense of nearly anything other than maybe quarterback. That's really the only one where I would definitely be scratching my head because we got JG under contract with a lot of money and a no trade clause. You're not getting rid of him anytime soon. So BPA, I agree. I've been trying to preach this for the past 3 weeks. People scream at me, we need an edge. You don't need an edge. They'll grab one in this draft class. Don't make it wrong, because it's a deep class of edges, but they're not going to force your hand. When you go reaching for a need, that's when your hand gets caught in the cookie jar. And it's like Brad said, it's a dangerous game to play. With that being said, though, BPA is at pick 28, or at 28, are you typically looking at the same pool of players? And I believe I got the video here of him talking about trading back. Got multiple videos here, so be patient with me. Let's check this one out.
Let me get your question out the way. What I won't do.
Ooh, actually, I could harp on the need BPA stuff. Brad was crashing out today a little bit. I'm going to play this one.
What I won't do is what I've been saying that I won't do, that I know you guys get frustrated with me not doing, is looking at our depth charts, like names, black and white names, but no football being played or anything, looking at a depth charts.
He's talking to them like kindergartners right now, like children, which I understand, because there's opinion pieces out in the media that are completely against this philosophy and theory. And Brad's just let you know, like, hey, there's no point in sharing your opinion unless it goes wrong, because this is what I'm doing. Don't care about your opinion. This is how I get the job done. Do you like me as a general manager? Do you like to say that I'm a good general manager? Well, this is how I do my job that you are saying I do well. So let me do my job. All right. But carry on, Brad. He's crashing out. I love it.
And seeing a position and then saying, man, you got to get that position. But a player has to play that position. And so that's why I've always been saying, look, we want to get good players, because if you get a guy that can play a position and say, look, like, what was the question that you asked, Brad? The 50th time you asked pass rushers, like, well, you can draft a pass rusher every round. You could. It's easy. That's just like if a coach told me, man, we want a guy that's 6'4", 250. If we got a guy 6'4", 250, that's easy. You want a guy 6'4", 250? Yeah. I don't know if he's a good football player, but he'll be 6'4", 250. Where the same as, yeah, you can draft a defensive end. If the player playing defensive end is not what we feel is going to be the right guy to really contribute to our football team, then what are you guys going to write about that player? You guys, man, that's not working. That didn't, well, so we're not going to reach on players just to fill a position. So that's what we won't do. But it's just, you said, like, you're always trying to figure out what we're going to do. I don't, like, when, like, a movie comes out, right? Like, I don't understand. When you go to see a movie, you don't know what you've never seen the movie. That's the excitement. And so you're fine just watching the movie. And it is, whether the movie's good or bad, and then you can do that. But I don't understand why people can't just watch the draft. And it's like, all right, like, I don't know what's going to happen, but watch
Absolute bar coming up, by the way.
your draft and get your popcorn ready and enjoy it. You know what I mean? Well, let me.
Get your popcorn ready and enjoy it. That has been the Brad Holmes draft experience, if I may. If I'm being honest with you, like, you don't know what's going to happen. Just get your popcorn ready and enjoy it, because he's come through every single time. If you want to harp on Terry Arnold's rookie performance, that's your fault for thinking we drafted him as a need. You drafted him as a guy that's going to develop down the road and be a good football player for you. Brad Holmes, I mean, the perfect example. Get your popcorn, enjoy the show. The dramatics of trading back out of 6 away from Jalen Carter and then grabbing a running back that no one thought was going to go top 15 in Jahmyr Gibbs. But guess what? We sat back. You had no choice other than to, by the way. We sat back, and now we're talking about Jahmyr Gibbs as, my opinion, top 3 running back in the game right now. Like, active players, top 3 running back in the game. Not many guys I'm taking over Jahmyr Gibbs. And it's just, he's in the money with that one. And he's been on the money in the draft. So I think we have to sit back and enjoy the show. We really do. But I have been speculating on the channel multiple times now about trading back. And Brad Holmes kind of asked once about his philosophy in trading in the draft. I believe my man Nolan asked him, like, hey, you've been moving up, you're moving up. But he's like, I also move back. Here's Brad kind of talking about that move back in this year's draft class.
Now you're getting close to me on the clock and they're still there. Is trading down an attractive thing because we're going to get one of the guys we were hoping to get and we can pick up additional assets?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, if the compensation is right and it's reasonable and it makes sense, and like I said before, if we have the pool of players, you know, we have kind of relatively in the same bucket, then yeah, absolutely, that could be an option.
Now, obviously, this is more determined on how the board falls. I think that's just common sense. Like, if a guy that you have a first round grade on, and typically, I think I've been over this before too, you have like 14 first round grades across the first round. Like, yeah, there's entire first round of 32 picks, but you may only believe 14 of those guys are worth taking in the first round. So sometimes, like last year, one of those guys may fall within striking distance where you can make a reasonable offer to acquire that guy. Terry Arnold, pick 24. A reasonable offer. Like, that's I'm picking at 29. That's right there at 24. I view that guy as like one of the best 14 players in this draft class. Let me go get him. Another perfect example is when he went and grabbed Jameson Williams. Like, Brad, yeah, I'm picking at 32. Pickens getting slim right now. And I really only have 12 of these guys I view as first-round picks. Last one's coming up right now. Let me just go and grab him right now. Jameson Williams, boom. You know, 2023, I think there's multiple guys he's graded with the first-round picks. So he traded back. And then he got you Sam Laporta, Brian Branch, Jahmyr Gibbs. Like, it's true. There's no predicting what Brad is going to do until we know what the NFL is going to do, meaning the first 27 picks ahead of them. I'm in the camp of trade back. I'm personally that's if I'm making a prediction, I think you're going to trade back unless one of these guys fall to you. That is the only way. And by the way, if they fall to you, I'm not talking about to you at 28. I'm talking about to you at 20. We are in like the last 5 picks of the draft. We're not like none of these guys that we're talking about as superstars is going to be there, and there's very limited amount of guys in this draft that I consider a superstar. So I think you trade back. I think you're the same pool of players right there, and if you get something reasonable like an extra second round pick that also helps you move up in that second round, you go ahead and do that. But if you see a guy that you perceive as potential down the road becomes something more than what he is, then you grab that. I mean, listening to him say it now, I think it'd be as crazy as like a Nick Amawari, because a potential down the road type of guy. He has flashes of that. But yeah, I basically just want to come back on here, break down some more Brad and Ease. If you guys been watching the channel consistently, I've said these things. I've been saying these things. Gotten some pushback on them from a lot of my colleagues. But that's just the way it goes, man. I'm not a draft for needs guy. I am a BPA guy. I think that just makes sense. I don't care what your position value is. If I view player A that may be a safety as a better football player than player B who just plays edge, I'm taking player A. I'm taking the guy that's better at playing football. Plain and simple. I'm not going to force the hand and just grab an edge for the sake of it. I'm not going to force the hand and just grab a tackle for the sake of it. That's how you end up with draft busts. Brad Holmes, you don't do that. Guy's the best player. That's going to play on this football team. And I don't know if the one thing I will predict, the one thing I would put money on is the Detroit Lions are not selecting at pick 28 in this year's draft. Do me a favor, make sure you guys hit the like button, comment down your opinions down below. This is a quick makeshift video because Brad went live this morning, and I want to give some reaction to it because a lot of it is stuff I've been saying, and makes me happy. Confirms that your boy's a ball knower, But smash that like button. Make sure you guys hit the notification bell. Stay tuned. And also, what I'm saying? I know you guys see the hat. I know you guys see that Lions stuff I'll be rocking. There's only one place to go for. That's Lions Nation Unite. Make sure you guys get your merch, support the brand, backed by Herman Moore, former Detroit Lion. We have some interviews coming for you guys soon, too. Lions Nation Unite. Big thing. Subscribe, purchase, all that, and more. Until next time, I'm out.